One of my biggest problems with this room is the unnecessary suffering. So this room does not only allow unnecessary suffering to take place, it ensures that it takes place. Like, it makes it a necessity that suffering takes place. That is why I call this place a hell room. When you think of any vision of hell that human beings invented, suffering is a necessity in that realm. For a place to be called a hell, suffering must be a necessity. There must be suffering. Do you know how much work throughout history as sentient beings that we have put in trying to minimize suffering, and we've never truly been successful? Your whole life you've been trying to escape suffering and you've never truly been successful. Life gets you one way or another. It wants you to suffer, so it gets you one way or another. You could try to live a perfect life. Like, you know what? I don't want to suffer from any health issues. You work out, you eat right, you do everything right. But life gets you in another way. Find that maybe your relationships ain't working. You say, I want to be very successful in life, have my own things. Life gets you in other ways. Maybe you become sick. Maybe you don't do very well when it comes to relationships. Maybe you get involved in a car accident. It makes your life worse. Like, life always has a way of ensuring that people suffer. Every person that you meet in the street is suffering. And they've been trying their best to not suffer, but it doesn't matter. My problem with the way that we suffer in this room is that it's unnecessary. I do believe in suffering for something. I don't really have a problem with suffering if I'm suffering for something. If I need to be resilient to make something happen, and by being resilient I suffer in some way, I don't have a problem. Now, I go to the gym whenever I can. I do suffer. It's not like a lot of people go to a gym, they enjoy themselves there. You know, sometimes they wake up in the morning and be like, I don't want to go to the gym, but you know what? I want to be in shape. And this is the only way for me to be in shape. I want to be healthy, and this is the only way for me to be healthy. That's necessary suffering. But in this realm, when people talk about suffering, they're not even talking about necessary suffering. Like, we've already accepted that maybe we should suffer in some ways. Like, people do accept it, but the suffering is unnecessary. 2 weeks back, I went to a zoo, Joburg Zoo, where there were animals in captivity. Some of these animals, you could tell that they're not happy. They don't want to be there. They are really in captivity. We can say whatever we wanted to say about the whole situation, but in my opinion, that should be illegal. In my opinion, it should be illegal to put an animal in a cage that has not done anything wrong, just because you know, people want to see it. I don't think I don't think we can justify that. The fact that nature allows that, like as humans, nature allowed us to do that, and we're these selfish creatures that only care about themselves, like that's messed up. The fact that nature allowed that tells you something. You see that the animals that are suffering, that they're not suffering for any meaningful reason. Like they're not suffering for character development. This reminds me of these cartoons that I saw on TikTok. They were kind of like mocking God, really. So they showed some guy who was about to jump off a bridge, and there were some angels that were talking to God, like, yo, look at him, he's about to jump, can you intervene and make things better? They're like, no, this is good for his character development. Yeah, this is what God was saying. But he's about to jump off a bridge. You know, on occasion they said this is how God responds to situations, and the guy ended up jumping. So the problem is that we're suffering, and it's not even for any meaningful reason. It's not for character development. It's not like if people suffer, they become better. A lot of people who have suffered, and I used to think that people who suffer, they become better, but a lot of people who have suffered, they actually become worse. It's like if you were a boxer. If you get hit a lot, right, in the ring, if you get hit a lot, you're not gonna be like, your chin won't hold up anymore. Like after some time, your chin won't be able to hold up, and you'll get knocked out very easily. So it's how life is. Like if you keep on experiencing bad things in your life, like consistently, it gets to a point where you become demoralized. It gets to a point where you are discouraged. It gets to a point where you give up. You're like, this is life. This is what it is. Like this is my life. You know, there's a reason why people who lack confidence, they usually settle for less. Right? That's so them demoralized. They don't believe they deserve better in life. They've suffered so much that they believe whatever they can get. You know, it's like a person in the street who will be begging for coins. It's like, I don't deserve $100. Just give me $1. Just give me $1, I'll be fine. Give me 50 cents, I'll be fine. So it's the same. Like it's the same with people. Like they become like they stop being what they feel they should be because of how life is treating them. So that the person is no longer confident. They were confident in the beginning, but they're no longer confident because of how much they've suffered. You know, whenever they gain some confidence and try to do something with their lives, life hit them with a reality check. Like, no, you shouldn't be confident. You should just suffer. It gets to a point where people are anxious. They don't even want to go out. That people don't even want to go out because of how horrible the world has been to them. Like, you know what? I just gotta chill in my room, man. Do you know how hard it is to be confident if life is treating you like shit? Do you know how hard it is to feel positive about life if it's treating you like... Because people are not being treated the same by life. That is the truth. There are people who are being treated well. Like, you see that life is treating them a little too well. They don't have to try hard to get the things that they want. They don't have to try hard. In fact, they seem to attract the things that they want without trying, without doing anything special. They just attract the things that they want, and it's surprising how they are able to do that. Because for you, it feels impossible. Like, no matter how hard you try, it seems like life says no to you. No matter how hard you try, you never get what you want. So if we are suffering and we're not suffering for a good reason, why do we keep on going? That's one of the biggest questions. Let's the question that a lot of people who end up giving up completely ask themselves. It's not easy to keep on going if you are just suffering and it feels like the whole world is against you. If it's all meaningless, why keep on going? I've asked myself this question so many times. Like I was saying, that my biggest problem in life is that we are suffering, but not suffering for a good reason. Do I keep on going because, well, I'm here? Why not? Do I keep on going because I want to keep on going? Do I keep on going because I'm scared? I don't know what's next. Do I keep on going because other people want me to keep on going? Do I keep on going because I believe that even though the suffering is unnecessary, there's a lot that I can teach myself while I'm still here? Yesterday I told you about a dream that I had, and someone commented, told me what they think about the dream. I told you that I'm in a house. There's many people, like 15, 16, like between 15 and 20 people. There's money on top of the table. Where I'm from, we don't really trust one another when it comes to money. So because I was the man of the house, I was like, I'm gonna take the money and put it in my wallet. Whoever left it there, I'm keeping it for them. They're gonna come and tell me that they've left their money there. And everyone in the dream didn't agree with me. They didn't agree that I must take the money. So someone commented and said, that might actually mean that you value money more than you value other people. And I thought about it for a while. And I was like, no, the only reason why I took the money, or I wanted to take the money, because I don't think I ended up taking it. I don't really remember how the dream ended. Was because I didn't trust people who were there. But not even, like I don't trust a lot of people. Let me put it that way. Like I have trust issues. And maybe the dream was about my trust issues, right? It's not because I value money more than I value people, because it's not like I was taking the money for myself. I knew 100% that I'm not taking the money for myself. My fear was that someone was going to take the money, and since I'm the man of the house, I would have to answer. Like that's what felt true in the dream, that if someone takes the money, then I'll be the one that will have to try to figure out who took the money. So let me just take it, keep it safe, and then the person who the money belongs to, then the person will come to me. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, yo, the dream is actually telling me something about my trust issues. Like I don't trust people. So maybe there is something that you can learn in a dream. You can learn about yourself in a dream. How you respond to situations. Because yeah, that's probably how I would respond maybe not in real life. I wouldn't respond like that, but I could, it made total sense to me why I would respond like that. It made total sense within the context of the dream. So do I keep on going because I feel like there is something that I can learn, even though I'm not having this experience, so that I can learn? But it seems like I'm not having this experience so that I can learn. You cannot say that if you keep an animal in a cage, it's having that experience so that it can learn. It's not learning anything unless it decides to think deeply about what's going on, about what it wants. Does it want to be in a cage? Is it fair that it's in a cage? How does it view humanity? How does it view those who kept it in a cage? Does it think that it's on the people who kept it in a cage are on its side? They're keeping it in a cage just to keep it safe. That's their intention. Because intentions are important. Are those animals in cages because we want to keep them safe? Or are they in cages because, well, we want to see them and it's more convenient for us if they're in cages? We don't want to go, like, people don't want to go to Kruger National Park. It's a lot of work and it's not really safe. It costs a lot of money. So why not go to a zoo? But those animals are suffering. The snakes don't even move. Remember, I captured many videos of snakes that were not moving at all. Snakes are usually moving. You tell me that all the snakes there were just sleeping. And it's not just the snakes. Even the tiger, I remember the tiger just was in one place and it was just one tiger. They gave it a light space at least. They give it food. But you could say that because tigers also want to exercise, And the best way for them to exercise is by hunting and playing with other tigers. So you could say that the tiger is not happy. It's alone. It's not even natural for a tiger to be alone. Cheetah was alone. The cheetah was alone. The hyena, maybe the hyena was not alone. But most of the animals were alone. No sentient being wants to be in a cage. Like, I don't know if there's a sentient being that wants to be in a cage. Sentient beings want to explore. Like, that's the point of it. You don't want. I remember I watched a documentary yesterday about the worst prison in the world, where they keep prisoners in, like, 17 prisoners in one cell, 17 to 20 prisoners in one cell. And if a prisoner misbehaves, they'll put them in solitary confinement for 20 days. No light, nothing. And they said this place will break even the most ruthless criminals. Like, anyone will go crazy in this kind of a place. Because no one wants to be in one place. People want to explore. They don't want to experience the same thing over and over and over and over again. It becomes hell. It becomes torture. I remember asking you this question about God. I was like, what if you were God and you were alone? Like, you're totally alone. There's no other. It's just you. It's just you. There are no other people. It's you. It's you. You are completely alone. What would you do? Would you be like, yeah, I'm alone and I'm God and I'm happy because of that? Or you'd be like, I'm alone and I don't want to be alone. So wouldn't you end up playing games with yourself, pretending as if there are other gods? Like, you're not completely alone, right? It's not just you. There are other beings. So I was asking that, what if that's how this world was created? That God felt totally alone, and it got to a point where it was like, what if I can pretend as if I'm not alone? And I actually believe that. What if I can make myself forget? Whatever I create is better than feeling like I'm totally alone. So he ended up creating this and forgetting that he's God, and he doesn't want to wake up He doesn't want to go back home because he feels like home is like he's alone when he's at home. Ever been in a live with people who made you feel alone and made you feel lonely, and when you're not with them, right, you go outside and you play with your friends, you enjoy yourself. Whenever you think of going back home, you're like, ish, but my dad, my mom, my siblings, you don't want to be there. So of course, if you put a human in solitary confinement, they would want, like, if there's something that is going to seek desperately is interaction with another human. Like, they would want to they wouldn't want to just be alone. I remember when I was in a hospital, I was still young. I'm not the type of, I wasn't the type of kid that would want to be with my parents all the time. But I broke my leg when I was, how old was I? I think I was 8. Yeah, I was 8 when I broke my leg. Well, they have to sleep in a hospital bed for like the whole day. I would only move when I go to the toilet, when the nurses will come and pick me up and take me to the toilet. It sucked. I will always look forward to my mom visiting. Like, that meant a lot. I would always look forward to my mom visiting me, to my dad visiting me, my aunt visiting me. Every visit counted. I wanted people to visit me because I felt alone, totally alone. So can you imagine being in a cage? You are in a cage just because humans are too damn selfish that they want to keep you there so that they can see you. That's how selfish they are. What are you suffering for? Is there really a good reason for you to be there? Is there really a meaningful reason for you to be suffering? Is there something to gain? Is there something to learn? Or you can just try to gain some real insights looking at yourself in that situation and ensure realizing that you are in a hell room, because that shouldn't even be possible. It shouldn't be possible for humans to be able to put you in a cage just because they want you to be in a cage. It shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't be considered a good thing. It shouldn't be considered acceptable, but it is, and no one is talking about it. So nature allows suffering to take place for no good reason. That is my real problem with this place. Nature allows suffering to take place, but for no good reason. If it was for a good reason, we would be evolving. I've been telling you that human beings have not evolved at all. Just because we see people like Elon Musk sending satellites to space, we think we're evolving. Can you do that? This reminds me of a scene from the movie I, Robot, where Will Smith was asking a robot if it can create art, if it can make music, if it can write poems. And the same robot asks him the same question, can you? And he just did this because it was a valid question. It's like, just because some humans they can do some things doesn't mean that all the humans can do these things. So you cannot really say that we're evolving. I can't do the things that Elon Musk can do. If we're evolving, all of us should be evolving. I can't create a cell phone. I don't understand how a cell phone works. I don't understand how the internet works. All I know is that after recording this video, I'm just going to edit it. After editing it, I'm gonna render it. After that, I'm gonna upload it. After that, I'm gonna publish it. That's it. I just know the basic stuff. I don't know how the internet works. I don't know how Google works. I don't know how DaVinci Resolve works. You know what I mean? I don't know how this camera works. I don't know how this microphone is picking up my voice, and how, because it's a wireless microphone, how it's able to capture my voice and everything is well synchronized. Like, I don't understand. So I can't say, hey, we're evolving because some people know how to do this. I can't. You could leave me alone for eternity. You understand? You can leave me alone for eternity and it will never be possible for me to be able to create this. or anything really that's technological. I can't create anything that's technological. So we're not. We're not. If we're evolving, it means that now we would have been able to get rid of poverty. That will be evolution. Human beings are no longer dealing with poverty. There are no human beings in this world that are suffering from poverty. There are no human beings in this world that are being treated like slaves. There are no human beings in this world that feel misunderstood, that are being mistreated. Like that's evolution. That's what makes people happy, is things working out in their favor. And if we are different people who found themselves in the same room, we should find a way to make sure that everyone is able to exist and be themselves and experience what they want to experience without us trying to control everything. But human beings ain't like that. We want to control others because we have power. If we discovered a new species, we'd want to control them. Like a new species of, like that humanoid creatures, whatever, we would want to control them. Study them. We wouldn't care about their privacy. We want to know what's going on. Why? We want to, we want to change them. That's why these uncontacted tribes that are being discovered, they are being brought into the modern world, little by little. And we'll get to a point where they have to work to survive. They'll have to use money and all that. You find that they were not really into that. Like, it was never their thing. The way that they were doing things was fine for them. They weren't suffering from depression. No one was committing suicide. No one had real problems. Like, they knew how to deal with their problems. When one of them got sick, they knew how to take care of that person. But in this realm, it's not like that. Like, everything is monetized. Huh? Everything is for sale. You need help from someone who can actually help you, and you don't have money, they don't help you. It sucks. People will watch you die, bro. Just because you don't have money. They can't benefit from helping you. This is the modern world. So can we be honest with ourselves about how messed up this place is? So if we're suffering the way that we're suffering, and it feels like there is no hope, because when you look at the way that things work, you're like, is there really hope? Can humanity really change? Can we really make ourselves proud? We look back and be like, damn, we didn't just improve technologically, because it may seem like it's progress, but if we're not getting along, it's like if you give monkeys guns, and you find that monkeys still want to head other monkeys, what's going to happen? They'll just kill each other. Is that progress? So if we're improving technologically, but we're not becoming smarter, we're not becoming kinder, we're not connecting more, we're not understanding one another more, what is really going on? We'll use technology to destroy one another. And that's what's happening now. That's why people be fighting on Twitter, people be fighting on Facebook, people using guns on each other. It sucks, man. It sucks. Like, technology is being weaponized. People be using technology that shows you that we are not evolving. We would have gotten to a point where we care about one another. All of us care about one another, and we didn't see the need to be fighting, the need to be against one another, because there's no point and there's no reason for us to be against one another. But we've been programmed that way, and that makes this room hellish. You can see that these things that we hate about the world, we can't really escape them. It's like the world is always going to be like this, and it's all meaningless. That's what sucks. There's no point. You're like, okay, we're fighting with one another, but what is the point? What is the point? Ukraine, Russia, what is really the point? What's going to be won in the end? Yeah, we conquered apartheid, but what was really the point? You get sick, what's the point? You pass grade 12, you want a job, you don't get it for 5 years. What's the point of you suffering? You know what I mean? Like it's just suffering, and you don't know what you were supposed to learn through suffering. Can we expand our awareness through experiencing what we like, and wouldn't that help us create the kind of world that we want to create, and we'll become more and more happy as a collective? Because now we are focusing on that. We're focusing on what's fun. We're focusing on connection. We're connecting with one another better. We're focusing on loving one another, understanding one another, making life better, like, creating a life of quality for everyone, a life worth living for everyone. Can you imagine that if we worked on that as a collective, we would actually be expanding our awareness? It's not like we expand our awareness through suffering. I do understand that as a human, yes, I feel better sometimes when I suffer a little for something. Like, I wouldn't want things to be too damn easy. You see, right now I'm in a park. I don't know I think life would suck more if I could do whatever I wanted now. Let's say I wanted to watch a movie now, and I could just, in an instant, have like a TV. The whole environment will change, and I'm just watching that movie. I think it will get boring. So yes, human beings do want to suffer for things, but now the suffering is too much. It gets to a point where they suffer and be like, that's all meaningless. Like, it's defeating the purpose. It's like, yeah, we gotta suffer a little for the things that we want, but it mustn't be so much suffering that people just become demoralized. People just start hating life. I remember I gave you this example. My neighbor has like at home, like in my village, my neighbor had a dog. That dog, we all liked that dog. When she had the dog, we all liked the dog. But she used to treat it so bad that, sometimes not giving it food the whole day, and it was tied to a tree, it will always be barking. You can see that it's in pain. After a few months, that dog didn't even bark anymore. She would let it loose and it will not bark. And I'll be like, yeah, the dog has seen a lot. Like, it can't even bark anyway. And she would complain and say, it doesn't bark. It doesn't even bite people. It's just there. Like, even if people enter, even if Tsotis entered, like criminals, even if they entered, that dog wouldn't do anything. Yeah, it wouldn't do anything because it's tired. Now it's tired. It's no longer, it doesn't have the same excitement that it had. And that's what life is doing to people. It's like, you used to have the excitement. You used to be, used to have the spark, interest in life, but now it's gone. You demoralized, you are tired, just like that dog. So that can be good. That can be a good thing. But if a dog suffers because it's hunting, trying to catch a rabbit, it fails. Tries to catch another one, it fails, and then tries to catch another one and it's able to, or it keeps on learning how to hunt. It's working towards something. So the suffering, it can be meaningful, and it can get to a point where it's better at hunting. But if it's tied to a tree, that's unnecessary suffering. Why is it tied to a tree? What is it learning? What is it supposed to learn from being tied to a tree? That's how we are being treated now as humans. We're being so damn limited to a point where you just don't know what to do. You know how many people are unemployed in South Africa? And money is important, right? You can't get what you want as a human, as a young person. You are 25. There are a lot of things that you actually need. But now, because you were born in a poor family and you rely on this system, because, well, what are you gonna do? We've already allowed this system to control everything. So what can really be done? So you find that people are tired, for real. People are demoralized. People don't want to be here anymore, and that's genuinely how they feel. And we can tell ourselves that, they just have suffering from this condition and that condition. Find out the real problem is how life is treating them. That dog became demoralized, not because it's a bad dog, not because it's a lazy dog, not because it's a stupid dog, but because of how it was treated. It lost its ability to be a dog because of how it was treated as a dog. Now it's just tired. Now it looks at humans and be like, I don't care. You could see that the dog is ready to die. Like the dog is so tired that it's actually ready to die. Should it be like that? Like, should it get to a point where sentient beings are so tired that they're actually ready to die? Should it really be like that? Can we really say that that makes sense? Can we really say that that is meaningful? People are not really afraid of suffering. They're just afraid of meaningless suffering. Trust me. When people complain, they complain about meaningless suffering. Like, we're suffering, but we don't see what's there to gain, you know? Like, what am I gaining from suffering? It's all meaningless. What is the point? You know? Because if life itself is meaningless, should unnecessary suffering be allowed in a realm where nothing is meaningful? You understand? Because if life was meaningful, then you'll be able to justify suffering. Like, yeah, we're suffering for something. But if it's meaningless, it means that we could create a world where there's no suffering and sentient beings are happy, and what we're working on is becoming more happy, right? Like, we're trying to find like new ways to be happy, right? We're not like, that's it. Like, that's the purpose of life, is to try to find new ways to be happy and experience more happiness, and be creative enough, you know? Like, that would make sense, since everything is meaningless. But if there was meaning to life, then you could say that because this is the meaning, this is what we're working for, we cannot only focus on fun, we cannot only focus on happiness. People are tired, bruh. You go to hospitals, people are sick, like really sick. You see a person, like, they are so thin, it's unbelievable. The person is so thin and they've been sick for months. You're like, this can't be good. This can't be justified. This can't be beautiful. This can't be what the whole thing is about. This can't be life. This can't be this thing that we call life that we used to be excited about. Like, that shouldn't be possible. Like, are people getting sick because they're doing something wrong? Or that's not a bug, it's a feature? So people getting sick is not a bug, it's a feature in this realm. Animals get sick, humans get sick. The fact that you can have a disease, that should make you suspicious. It's like, why is that even possible? Why is it possible for people to have diseases? Have a virus. Like, it tells you something about this place. It's unnecessary suffering. It doesn't make you a better person. We don't want that as a collective. You know, if human beings were asked if getting sick was necessary, they all say that it's not. You know, except for some scientists, they will say something like, yeah, maybe getting sick is good, because if you never, like, caught flu, for an example, you know, you wouldn't be able to release these from your body and all these kind of things. Like, no, it doesn't have to be set up that way. You can say that the only reason why it's set up that way is so that suffering will be necessary, right? It's for suffering to actually be necessary. It's for humans to think that, yeah, it's all necessary. I do want life to have meaning, to be something that we can justify in the end, something that we can say, yo, this makes sense. But it doesn't. It doesn't have meaning. It's just like dreams. We can try to figure out what we can learn from our dreams. And all the lessons that we're learning are lessons that we use to try to escape suffering. You see, when you start to try to like self-actualize and you're using your dreams, if you've had a psychedelic experience, you also use that. You are trying to minimize your suffering through self-actualization, through enlightenment. You're trying to be enlightened so that you will minimize your suffering. Well, everything that we do, we're doing it because we're trying to minimize our suffering. So that seems to be the point of life, is to try to figure out how to minimize suffering. So the question is, what do I do as a sentient being who have discovered that it's all meaningless? What do I do? Do I go rogue? What do I even mean by going rogue? Do I just go against reality? Basically, I just do my own thing, not even believe in this reality. Just do things my own way. Whatever happens. Like, what do I actually do? This reminds me of the movie Guardian of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, Guardian of the Galaxy 3. I think it's a nice movie. It's about I think a lot of people who've watched Guardian of the Galaxy like the character, that raccoon, Rocket Raccoon, but we didn't know his story. So it's about his story basically. Like, there was this guy who was some kind of a genius. He was this scientist that can manipulate DNA, and he was trying to create worlds. He was trying to be God, basically, trying to create worlds and populate that world with the creatures that he kind of like created. Not really created, but because he can manipulate DNA. So Rocket was one of his subjects, and Rocket happened to be very smart, and he didn't know how to recreate that. He didn't know how to create something that smart, because Rocket wasn't even supposed to be in a new world, the world that he was creating. But he told, like all the animals that he created and put in a prison with Rocket, they believed that they were going to the new world, and he was working on the new world. Like, they looked at him as a god. But when he told Raccoon that, no, the new world is not for you. We are trying to create new creatures, and these are the new creatures are the ones that are going to be taken to the new world. You were just we're just experimenting with. You don't belong in the new world. Rocket was so furious. When they took him back to his cell, he told his friends that, no, they're not creating us so that it will go to the new world. We're just test subjects, basically. And he went rogue, right? So what are you going to do? If you realize that it's all meaningless, what do you do? How do you live your life? How am I going to live my life? Knowing that it's all meaningless. Life doesn't really have a point. I'd say it's best to try to learn as much as I can teach myself while I'm still here, because I can learn. And even though I'm suffering, I'm not suffering as much as possible, meaning that I still can learn while I'm still here. I'm more conscious than I was last year. which is a good thing. So even though it's all meaningless, I try my best to learn what I can learn about this world. And these are the things that I'm telling you guys. When I say this is a hell realm, it's what I think. It's not like I just hate this place and I'm like, yeah, it's a hell realm. Like, no, it's what I think. The more I learn, the more I see things, more accurately. And I think it is a hell realm, and I think it's appropriate to call this a hell realm than to lie to ourselves and say we are in a good place, even though there are a lot of bad things that are happening that are proving to us that we're not in a good place. If we're in a good place, I'll be honest with myself and say, this is a good place. It's like if you were in jail and they were telling you that it's a good place, like, yeah, it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place here. You all are supposed to be here, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, you can tell that it's jail. Jail is jail. You shouldn't be lying to yourself just to feel good. Jail is jail. If you're not in jail, you're in a park where everyone is having fun. You can tell you're in a park where everyone is having fun. There's no need to lie to yourself. So intellectual honesty is very important when you're trying to learn the truth. We found ourselves in this realm without our consent. We find ourselves dreaming without our consent. Like, things are just happening to us without our consent. And we don't know anything. Isn't it that weird to you? So shouldn't you really be honest with yourself about what you're experiencing than to pretend as if everything is okay, even if nothing is okay? It is not okay that we know nothing. It is not. That should make you suspicious. That should make you scared. The fact that you know nothing and you are in this realm and you can see that everything is meaningless, like, that should make you scared. That should make you ask questions. It's good to ask valid questions. We need to be honest also with ourselves as sentient beings that found ourselves in this room. We need to be honest. So I don't call this a hell room because I hate it. I just hate it and hate it and hate it. So it's a hell room because of that. Like, it just is. Everything tells me it's a hell room. Everything. I call this a hell room also because I can feel it that there can be a place better than this. So yes, there can be places that are worse than this, but this is still hell. There are prisons that are worse than other prisons, but it doesn't mean that if you're in a prison and it's not the worst prison, you're not in prison. Makes sense? So if you're in hell and it's not the worst kind of hell, that doesn't mean that you're not in hell. You're still in hell. You're just not in the worst kind of hell. So this is not the worst kind of hell. I can't say this is the worst kind of hell because I can still imagine a world that's much worse than this, right? I think everyone can imagine a world that's much worse than this. You can imagine yourself in a situation that's much worse than the situation that you're in. But we also can imagine situations that are much better than this. We still can envision a world where we are all doing well, we are all happy, we are all programmed to, work together and do things that actually make sense. We all can envision a world that's better than the world that we found ourselves in. And we all do want to be in a place that's better than this. That's the reason why people believe in heaven. They will be telling you about heaven. Why do you think people believe in heaven? Why do you think people believe heaven exists? Do you think people believe heaven exists because of religion and stuff? Like, they've always envisioned a world that's better than this. It's like, yeah, when we die, we're going to go to a place better than this. Like, I don't know why we feel like that as humans. I don't even think it's because, as like modern humans, we've been told about heaven. I think it's in us. Like, we kind of feel like this is not home. You know, like it sucks so bad that we're all like, nah, this can't be it. This can't be home. And on top of everything, it's all meaningless. We see people die every day. And you know, the way that people die proves to you that this is all meaningless. You know, a person is coming from work thinking that they're gonna make it home to their family and they die a horrible death. And you're like, damn. They don't even get to say goodbye. Like life doesn't even give us that chance to say to our family that, yo, it's my last day here. I don't have much time, but I want to say goodbye. I want to say goodbye to y'all. I want to tell you how much I love you. You know, I want to say things that maybe I thought I would say to you some other days, but since this is my last day, then I can't say these things. You know, that would be beautiful. Life doesn't even give us that. But nah, you don't deserve that. Like the fact that you can die at any moment, like it's scary. Like there's too much, it's too much suffering for a life that can be taken away at any moment. You know, too much suffering. You should be given like a week notice. Like if they're gonna fire you where you work, they should at least give you a notice, right? Like, yeah, you know what, you're getting fired, but not now. You're not. You know, we're giving you a month at least, so you can make peace with everything. You can make peace with your coworkers, all of that. But in this realm, you just get fired, dude. That's it. At least even if they fire you where you work, and they'd be like, yeah, you're fired right now, like straight up. At least you can still say goodbye to your coworkers. At least you can still make peace. You can still talk to your boss, have a conversation with your boss, and try to figure out why he had to fire you. But in this realm, you don't have that. You don't have that luxury. You just die. And on top of everything, we want it to be like that as a collective. So if a person says, you know what, look, I'm good. I would like to be assisted. I want to say goodbye to my family. Maybe have a small party where, you know, I invite a lot of people who have been part of my life. You know, I don't care if some of them were my enemies. I don't care if some of them did me dirty. It is what it is. They were part of this movie that I was watching. So I would like for everyone to be in one place, and I say goodbye to everyone in peace. So can I be assisted? No, they'll say no. They'll say you're crazy. You know, even if you're sick, even if you're suffering, they'll say you're crazy. You know, the world is against people being assisted to pass on without even knowing what life is. You know, we don't believe that the person should have that kind of autonomy. So it's crazy that we just want people to just experience this, and we don't even know what it is. There should be intellectual honesty when we're dealing with life's issues. You know, that's when we'll be able to create a better world. But if we're lying to ourselves about things because of what we've been told or what we've been programmed to think, it doesn't help. So yeah, it does suck that our lives can be taken away at any moment. Like that's one of the things that actually makes me angry. You know, if someone tries to take my life, like I remember this year, actually it was not last year. This year in January, someone pulled out a gun on me, trying to rob me. I was angry, bro. I was angry. I managed to run away. As the guy was pulling out a gun, I noticed that I pushed him, he fell down, and then just ran away. But I was angry that people feel that free to take someone else's life like that. We're talking about a life that was lived for many years, bro. A lot of people know me. You know, a lot of people have invested in me. All that I've invested in myself. I do think it's a hell rim, but should I just be, you know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere, you gone. Out of nowhere. Because someone just was trying to rob you, because someone wanted what you have. That's not beautiful. That's not a beautiful story. That is not a story I don't know, that's just not a beautiful story. We are taking away autonomy from people. Like, you must not have autonomy. You don't deserve autonomy as a human. Like, that's really a problem. For a life that's meaningless, we're forcing people to take it too damn seriously. We are forcing people to take life too damn seriously. And life itself is forcing us to take it too seriously. Because of the pain, suffering, because we don't want to suffer. So even if you don't want to take life seriously, you're kind of forced to take it seriously because you don't want to suffer. You don't see the beauty of suffering. So yeah, sometimes we just tell ourselves that let's just write it out, as long as we can. And in the meantime, trying to be learning lessons things that we're not even supposed to learn. Because there are some things that we are forbidden from, like, like there's knowledge that we're not supposed to have. Real knowledge about what's actually going on. We're not supposed to have that. We're supposed to believe whatever we are being told. There's a reason why if you go against the status, like if you believe what the people who you live with don't believe, or you think what people who you live with you don't think, you are a bad person. Like, you are treated like a bad person. Like, you're gonna be punished like you're a bad person. If you don't believe in a religion that they all believe in, you're a bad person. Automatically you deserve to be punished. There's a reason why. We all know that it's trash. But you're supposed to believe what everyone else believes. You're supposed to think what everyone else thinks. So if you are courageous enough to think outside the box, that's a good thing. It means that at least while you are suffering in this realm, there is also something that you are learning, something that is important, something that might help you, something that you might take with you wherever you're going. You see, you can have dreams where you teach yourself something that you take with you even after you've woken up. I don't believe that we'll forget completely what we experienced here. I think we'll take some things with us. Maybe not everything, and that's why it's hard to truly evolve, because we should have been able to remember where we come from. So it is scary that you were born here and you knew nothing. Like, you are put in this state where there's almost nothing that you remember. Children seem to remember some things, but not everything. And as they get older, they start to forget the things that they used to remember, Children are very intuitive. They can sense danger. When they're still young, like, they see you and you're a dangerous person, they'll cry. You're a beautiful soul, they won't cry. So they kind of like remember some things. They know what is scary, what is dangerous.